when I was a child, my brothers started telling me about medieval tortures. They were both older than me, and they used to say things like, do you know what they used to do? They used to stretch people up. And I was very upset about this, and I went to my mother and I said, they don't torture people nowadays, do they? I'm talking about 1960, 1961. And she said, no, nobody tortures anyone like that anymore. But she knew she was lying. And when I asked my mother that question, I was a child being brought up in Cape Town in South Africa. And she knew full well that down the road in the big security forces building in Cape Town, there were people probably being tortured right at that moment, because that was in the high era of apartheid in South Africa. Now, as it happens, my parents were communists, which, as you can imagine, was quite difficult for them. And they were in opposition to the regime. And later on in the 1960s, the whole family emigrated back to England, because we were originally from England, from Cornwall, actually. So that question that my mother asked was a very poignant one. And later I came to realise and understand how much the apartheid regime in South Africa and Israel were coordinating and helping each other during that period. So it's not very well known that they helped each other to build their nuclear bombs, for example. And coming to England meant that we could engage in anti-apartheid activities here, including the boycotting of South African food and South African sport, and some of us will remember that eventually that is what brought down the South African regime at a time when it seemed impossible that there could ever be peaceful change in South Africa, and eventually it was economics that forced them to change. Now, when I heard Dr. Refaat Alareer's poem and of David's project, I really wanted to record the poem in Afrikaans, because that was the language that we heard spoken in that harsh fashion every day to anyone whose skin was a different colour from ours. Foot sick, go there, get down there, boy, go there, do this, foot sick. So I thought, let's have a go and let's see if we can make this poem work in Afrikaans. So this is Refaat Alareer's poem, If I Must Die, spoken in Afrikaans. As ek moet sterf, jy moet lewe, om my storie te vertel, om my goed te verkoop, te koop 'n stuk lap en 'n paar snare. Maak dit wit met 'n lang sterk, sodat 'n kind ewees in Gaza, terwyl hy die hemel in die oë kyk. Terwyl hy die hemel in die oë kyk, wag op sy pa, wat in 'n vlaam vertrek het, en niemand gegroet nie. Nie eers na sy vlees, nie eers vir homself nie. Sien my vlee, die vlee wat jy het gemaak. Hoog bo vlieg. En dink paar 'n oomblik dat 'n engel is daar, liefde terug te bring. As ek moet sterk, laat dit hoop bring. Laat dit 'n verhaal wees.